Blog Talk Radio.
Welcome to Blog Talk Radio's The Incoherent Ramblings of C&E. Christopher and Eric are your hosts, coming to you live from Greensboro, North Carolina, as we do every Thursday from 6 to 7 p.m. Eastern Time. Our intro music is provided from the Podshow PodSafe Music Network. Check it out at music.podshow.com. Also, feel free to email your topics for discussion, suggestions, and comments to incoherentramblings@live.com. Okay, we're here. We're running a few seconds behind. Hello, Eric.
We're right on time.
We are right on time. It is December the 9th, 2009, and we are broadcasting live from the internationally famous C&E Studios, Greensboro, North Carolina, on Wednesday.
As we do occasionally on Wednesday.
Occasionally. And we're not on our usual day, and we're not on our usual time slot.
That's going to be a special show today.
This is special.
It's a special episode.
This is a special. I have a story.
Hump day.
Yes, someday. I have a story that I just shared with you. That last one I think is pretty good.
I think that might be the best good news story we've ever had on the
show.
Oh,
I was referring to the daycare.
Oh, that's good. Not a good news story.
But depends on your outlook.
Right.
You know, we always say that we don't collaborate and plan. Mm-hmm. Well, today we actually planned for about a minute and 38 seconds,
which is why we were a little behind.
Yeah. So we actually did a little collaboration.
Yes.
Collaborative effect.
Yeah. I'm
just making stuff up. It's a beautiful day here.
I might have our biggest sheep award.
The biggest sheep award?
I don't know if it's the biggest, but it seemed pretty terrible to me. Mm. So we got the best good news story and one of the worst
bad stories.
Mm.
Well, if someone were to have the desire to call us, how would they do that?
Well, they would call in on the guest call-in number of 646-716-6928.
Excellent. You can go to blogtalkradio.com/incoherent ramblings, and no need to go through all this stuff. You can find it all.
If somebody was listening to the show for the first time today, and they fell in love with as all our listeners do,
right?
And they said, "Gosh, I wish I could listen to some of their older episodes." How could they do that, Chris?
Well, you know, they have multiple options.
Oh,
they could from Blog Talk Radio. They archive them there.
Mm-hmm.
They could go to Facebook where they are archived.
Mm-hmm.
They could go to iTunes and either go to every single one of the shows individually, or they could download all of them, listen to them either streaming or download and listen to them at their own leisure. So they do have, let me see here. If you go to our show page, let's see how it's archived. Yeah, it archives. And I think right now we have back to October 15th. And then if you do previous episodes, you can go in and even hear episodes before. I think all of them are on there. So many different options.
I'm sure you mentioned iTunes.
Yes, iTunes. I did. Have many different options. So.
Indeed.
So we're out there. We are well connected.
Yes, we are.
To the World Wide Web.
We even tweet, although I've never been a tweet.
Twitter. We tweet. We tweet all the
show
time.
Tweets.
Yes.
I've never tweeted.
The show also tweets. When we have a plug-in to Twitter and to Facebook.
Mm-hmm.
This is a little shout-out to Blog Talk Radio. They made a little applet that installs connectivity between Twitter and Facebook. So when I go set up a show,
mm-hmm.
within a couple minutes, that information propagates to Twitter and Facebook for me. I no longer have to go to Twitter and Facebook and put that stuff in. It just happens. Now, MySpace, I still have to go do that, but MySpace is kind of like the trailer park of social networking. So,
what was it we were doing it tonight for? Because you had something tomorrow. Would you have?
I have a play practice.
That's right.
Tomorrow, yes. Dress rehearsal.
My daughter has a musical tomorrow night that I would have had to have missed it for anyway.
Oh, okay.
So it all worked out.
It does. It does. Is she singing?
She is.
Oh,
I'm sorry you're going to miss that.
Maybe
you may not have to. What time is your?
My play practice is probably starting around 3 in the afternoon and probably going to midnight.
We'll videotape it for you.
Okay, thank you.
She's that talented.
Yes. Oh boy. A little Miley Ray Cyrus.
And we were going to go to a concert tonight.
We were.
But that is
falling through. That's why sadly. We won't state the group we were going to go see, but
have you seen them in concert before?
10 times.
10 times.
Yeah. Yeah, it's interesting. I think everybody except for my parents should go see them at least once, just to witness it. But they'll be back around.
Good.
They're from Richmond, Virginia.
Are they?
Yeah. So they're in this vicinity, and they tour, but they tour all over the world.
Just the few seconds I listened to today, I thought I was going to go straight to hell.
Do you know that they all have not only college degrees, but most of them have either a master's or a doctorate?
I find that very shocking.
It is. It is shocking. They're all very well educated, and when they're out of costume, they're just like regular everyday guys, like not a bunch of tattoos or piercings.
Right.
Just look like regular dudes. So yeah. But next time they come through, we'll try to do it again. I want to get you there, because trust me, you will enjoy it.
I have no doubt.
I took David Orr, and he was like unsure about it, but still kind of excited.
Can we tell our listeners which group we're talking about?
It's GWAR, GWAR. If you're not familiar with them, don't
be there, because I wasn't either until this morning.
They are kind of the pioneers of true shock rock. I guess post Alice Cooper, but and King Diamond and things like that. But nonetheless,
entertaining.
You may not want to go check it out. But
so you have some good news stories.
I have a good news story.
Is that your only good news story?
Well,
you may want to save that one for that. That may very well be the best news story
ever.
It's a good, to quote Addie, ever in the history of the world.
History of ever. Good news as far as people being in a bad situation and then something unbelievably happening. Not good news as in a heroic deed or whatever, but it's a pretty amazing story nonetheless. I do have the one about the inmate that I thought showed a little good change of conscience, and I thought that was I was going to put that in a good spin.
Okay.
So I could start with that one.
Sure.
Yeah. This comes from the great state of Maine, basically Canada. A maximum security inmate was mistaken released Wednesday night. He turned himself back in. That's the part that, when the story first broke. Excuse me. I'm going on less than 3 hours of sleep. I know I say that a lot, but I went to sleep around 5:40 and got up at 8:40 this morning, and been working all day, so I'm a little sleepy. When this story first broke, he was just escaped. Well, I guess technically he didn't escape if he was released. Anyhow, Ahmed Ismail reportedly arranged through his lawyer to give himself up. This is exactly what I wanted to see happen, says the chief of police. He was back in custody within 24 hours and nobody was injured. The county jail had released him when they were supposed to be releasing another man, Ismail Awad. The confusion occurred at the Cumberland County Jail when someone arrived to bail out 20-year-old Awad, whose bail had been set at $240. Correctional officers asked that Ismail be brought to the front. Officer brought forward the 23-year-old Ahmed and released him. He had been charged with robbery and aggravated reckless conduct with a gun. Sheriff could not explain why his yellow jumpsuit, worn to indicate a maximum security prisoner, didn't alert officers that he shouldn't be released. He was being held on $50,000 bail. He played along, signing paperwork for bail as if he was a wad, and taking the wad's clothing, belongings, and identification. They said Ismail is the second inmate to be mistakenly released from the facility this year.
Well, fool me once.
Maybe they're also running security for the White House.
That's probably when they started implementing the bright yellow suits. Foolproof.
Yeah, foolproof. A man who was supposed to be transferred to another facility in August was released instead. The suspected robber turned himself in the next day. The reason why I say it was a good story is because anytime you have maybe a dangerous person that you hand a get out of jail free card, which, well, we do that every day here in America, but when they weren't supposed to, we didn't know that they were being out of jail, they weren't being monitored and tailed and looked after, obviously something bad could happen. But then he also had a change of heart and turned himself back in, which is commendable.
I like the story. Mm-hmm. I would be really interested to know what he did when he got out for 24 hours. And that would be
I think I know. He probably aggravated and assaulted someone. I don't know. No, he. Who knows? I don't know what he did. This has been stated here on the show recently that Charles Manson said the first thing he would do if he got out was kill the first person he could find with his bare hands, which I think in and of itself is a good enough reason to make sure that he's never really released. But that's just kind of my personal opinion on that. But basically, I'm thinking probably what happened is he went out and was trying to find a way to make plans to flee or go into deep hiding, and then decided, hey, maybe the right thing to do here is back to jail where I need to pay my debt to society. Who knows what he was doing, but I'm thinking probably he probably also went and got a good meal. That's what I would have done. I mean, I've never been to prison, but I'm thinking they may not have the absolute best food to choose from. So, and Eric's on this again. Here we go. Sorry about that. No, not a problem.
That was something I've been working on for 3 days. I had to finish it up.
We multitask here.
Indeed.
Yes, we do.
I have another good story.
Please share it.
A Corvette stolen in 1970 was returned.
Mm-hmm.
Comes from Scottsdale, Arizona. A 1965 Corvette stolen in 1970 is being returned to its Nashville owner in perfect condition after being found in Scottsdale, Arizona, police said. The Nassau Blue convertible with white top was worth about $2,200 when it was stolen from Chance Mayfield 39 years ago. Today it's worth an estimated $65,000.
Wow.
Yeah.
I wonder if he thought he ever had a chance to see it again.
I doubt it. I wonder if he'd still have it today if it hadn't been stolen then.
What was his name?
Chance. Thought he'd have a chance?
I'm retarded.
Mayfield walked out of a bar in Nashville in November of 1970 to find his car gone. It ruined my night, he said. I guess that was ruined my night, too. Mayfield, 68, told the newspaper that the car was traced to Mayfield when a collector who had bought the car tried to register it with the Arizona Department of Motor Vehicles. A routine search of the serial number through the National Insurance Claims Bureau showed the car had been stolen. Although the car had belonged to a number of collectors, no one apparently had ever checked the car against the insurance database. Now that a court case with the most recent owner has been resolved, Mayfield said he will take a trailer to Arizona next week to bring his treasured Corvette home.
So when you first told me about it, I was thinking maybe perhaps the thief returned it.
That would make a better story.
Yeah, because that was, 39 years ago?
Mm-hmm.
That would have been belated change of heart.
The time to mature and do that.
Yes. Well, I wonder if he'll offer to sell it. I kind of think I would.
Would you? I'd keep it for a while and then I'd sell it.
It depends on how well-to-do he is. If it's not really a big deal to him, then that would be like a really cool car to have to drive around.
Yeah.
But if he's like living on a fixed income, kind of needed, I think I would unload it.
Yeah, absolutely.
The guy who bought it would be like, so you want to buy it again?
You seem to be a culture of fine.
I think it's worth about $65.
What did you pay last time?
Oh, that's funny.
Any other good stories besides your ultimate good story?
No, we get up. Well, I have this. I have a story right here.
Uh-huh.
I think it's the funniest story of the night. I'll go ahead and unload it right now.
Do it.
This comes from our home state here in North Carolina, from Charlotte, the Queen City,
where we were supposed to be tonight.
Yes, named after the Queen at the time of the UK, and we have someone from the UK listening to us. Our UK correspondent.
I forgot my Bushmills and coffee. I honestly had Bushmills and coffee this morning.
Really? Was it before noon?
Mm-hmm.
You might want to
talk to
someone about that.
And I was drinking alone.
I won't comment on it. So this comes from Charlotte, North Carolina. Authorities charged a North Carolina woman with selling moonshine out of her daycare center. The Charlotte Observer reported Tuesday that North Carolina alcohol law enforcement arrested a 57-year-old woman last week at the Parkview Community Center in Charlotte. Agents said children were in the daycare center when they sent in an undercover agent to buy 2 gallons of moonshine. The woman told the paper she was set up by a neighbor. She said she was just holding a package for a man in exchange for $80 and didn't even know what was in it. Agents also arrested an 82-year-old man and charged him with making the moonshine. Authorities seized more than 80 gallons of moonshine for the man. So what we're looking here is $40 a gallon, right?
Uh-huh.
So 80 times 40, that's $3,200 worth of white lightning.
Wow.
I mean, that's not bad. 82-year-old man.
That's a gallon for every year he's on.
All right.
Well, you want to sell moonshine where your customers are.
Yes.
And so.
And you know, daycare. Right? Yeah. So anyhow, there you go. I just thought that was kind of funny because I could see maybe little Billy being like, "What's this?"
Right.
And then taking a swig.
There you go.
That's the potential for something bad to happen because really young children that could.
Puts hair in the chest.
Yeah.
I've got a good. Speaking of chest, I've got a story that's
good, legitimate medical.
True.
This is medical research.
It is true medical research, not a joke at all.
It's not often we bring medical scientific research to the show, but today Eric is breaking new ground.
It's newsworthy, and it is good news.
It is good news
for men who like to stare at boobs.
Yes, exactly.
So, Frankfurt, Germany. A rather bizarre study carried out by German researchers suggests that staring at women's breasts is good for men's health and increases their life expectancy. Mm-hmm. I think it's very good advice. According to Dr. Karen Weatherby, who authored the study, gawking at women's breasts is a healthy practice, almost at par with intense exercise regimen. It prolongs lifespan for men by 5 years. She added that just 10 minutes of staring at the charms the charms of well-endowed female is roughly the equivalent of 30-minute aerobic workout.
Not for your cardiovascular system.
From blowing bubbles. A 5-year research on 500 men, researchers at 3 hospitals in Frankfurt, Germany, did an in-depth analysis of 200 healthy males over a period of 5 years Half the volunteers were instructed to stare at the breast of women daily, while the rest were told to refrain from doing so.
And where was the double-blind placebo there? How, wait a second. Are you sure this is legit?
Well, I mean, it was published in the New England Journal of Medicine.
But you got it from the Sun, right? No offense. You
Did I?
Second setting. No, I was just being
I don't know
funny.
where I got it from.
He knows my comment there.
So basically, men over 40 should definitely gaze at breast for at least 10 minutes daily.
10 minutes daily.
At least.
And in addition to eating a healthy diet and
Fish oil pills.
And fish oil pills and working out.
And a vitamin D.
And a vitamin D.
And Bailey's and Bushmills or coffee. You should stare at breast for at least 10 minutes.
Maybe while you're drinking your Bushmills.
Preferably large, well-endowed.
Right.
Apparently it has a bigger effect.
Well, here we are bringing you groundbreaking medical research.
We want our listeners to live longer.
And healthier.
And have a happier life.
And that's what we are doing.
Yes.
We're providing you with the tools. We can't do it for you. We can just provide you with the tools.
Well, the information.
Yes.
One would argue that the rest are the tools.
You can lead a horse to water. But you can't make it drink. I've been wanting to say that on the show for a while.
You should try not to refrain from looking at breasts daily.
Yes. So there you go. Well, I feel better already. I think I just added about 20 minutes to my life just thinking about it.
We're just looking at a picture that I had with a story.
Exactly. Oh, boy. Well, this isn't a very interesting story, but I'm going to read it. It happens every year. Well, more than once a year, but
I've done it.
You've done it? Did you get stuck?
I did.
You did? Did the police have to come out?
No, I didn't. I yanked about. You read a story, I'll tell you about.
But I'm not going to.
I thought we talked about it on the show.
Yeah, we have. This is just your typical cold environment, metal pole, and a triple dog dare. This kid from Boise, Idaho, decides to stick his tongue on the pole and it gets stuck. And they had to call 911 and bring out the fire department, and the police, and
so they could heat up a glass of hot water before the kid
on his tongue. Yes.
The neighbor or whatever couldn't do that.
No, apparently that was too difficult for them to do.
Got to be a licensed professional.
Yes.
Yes, I did that when I was younger. Not smart.
Yeah, it would have to be painful, wouldn't it?
I ripped my tongue off. And it was literally, honestly, a piece of my tongue stayed stuck to that pole for years. It was like a pea-sized piece of tongue. And it was stuck to the pole for years. In my mouth, I mean, it bled and bled and bled and bled. So. Well,
and I'm not going to read these stories, but just odd news on Newsline. Sometimes just the how they list it is good enough. Florida woman accused of attacking boyfriend with raw meat. I don't know why this kind of caught me off guard there. Sexual rights group renames the female hymen. I'm sure we are all relieved now.
They call it a hoo-hoo. A blossom. What is the official today? Do you happen to see?
I don't know what it is. I don't care anything about those kind of people, so I was just reading it. A St. Martin, Mississippi couple awoke Saturday night to find a drunken stranger asleep on their couch, cuddling a teddy bear.
If I had a penny.
It says, used to be someone posted, used to be you could leave your doors unlocked, but nowadays your teddy bears aren't even safe. And he was arrested, and he gets a DUI. And I think he also got assault on the teddy bear.
Cuddling while intoxicated. Sexual assault on a stuffed animal.
new English term for what they say is one of the most misunderstood parts of the female anatomy.
We're back on the sexual rights.
Renaming the female. It doesn't say what they've renamed it, but I love the first post. What's it say? It says, just doesn't roll off the tongue quite right. That person is clever. Yeah. I will give it that. Why don't you take a story to get the show out of the gutter, please?
Okay. Tin cans filled with $10,000 found at Des Moines Kmart, since we're back on Iowa. Mm-hmm. When employees at Des Moines Kmart store finally opened a red tin can that had been sitting on the customer service counter for 4 days, they got a $10,000 surprise. The can contained $10,380 in assorted bills. The employees called police after opening the can Friday. Police say the money was counted by a store manager, placed in an envelope according to denomination, and turned over to officers. No note was found. The store manager declined to identify himself and referred all questions to police. The investigation into where the money came from is continuing. I just thought that was odd.
That is odd.
You don't often find people leaving money at...
No. Well, last week we had someone, pushing over a Salvation Army volunteer and taking money.
Exactly.
Out of a can.
I got a story of perseverance and...
Let's hear it. Perseverance.
Man carves tunnel for 14 years to park near home. He couldn't park his truck near his house. A man in India has proved that nothing's impossible when you have the willpower and the right equipment. Frustrated with a hilly range that blocked his access to his home, Robert Chakwanda Das, a villager from Kiwati, eastern Bihar, slugged away at the Rocky Mountain for 14 years, creating a small tunnel. The tunnel, measuring 10 meters in length and 4 meters in width, finally enabled Das to park his truck by his home. Prior to this, there was no convenient way for him to drive his vehicle to his house.
How did he build this house? Was it built out of sticks or something?
A straw? I don't know. Maybe he chopped down the wood on that side of the mountain range.
Why wouldn't he just drive to it from the other side of the mountain?
Maybe it was on a lake.
It's on the Indian Ocean. Yeah. In oceanfront property.
Yep. He had to leave his truck miles away. He had to walk every day miles to get to his truck.
Well, because he had to go to the store to get some Little Debbies.
We went to the... He said he went to... he tried to get the government to build a tunnel, but they wouldn't do it. So he took it upon himself. Mm. And now other villagers that live there are very happy that he had done so. Now that's their preferred method of getting from one point
he's like the Indian Tim Robbins.
Yes.
Except for he wasn't in prison. Anyhow, 14 years. That is perseverance right there. I'm actually impressed. I don't know why the story tickled me so much.
You can literally move them out.
Or you could have just driven around it. Oh, man. I don't know why that story just kind of tickled me. Well, here, a lot of people don't know. You have the Bushmills, and I have some Cavassier. And I read. This comes to us from France. A bottle of the cognac dating back...
Spelled V-I-E-U-X.
Dating back to 1788, the year before the French Revolution, sold at a Paris auction of wine and spirits for $37,000. I don't even see how it could possibly be any good by now. But it's from 1788, and the label still looks fairly intact for being that old.
Yeah.
There's a restaurant that was cleaning out its cellar, considered one of the best and biggest in the world, putting 18,000 bottles up for auction. The 2-day sale brought in more than $2.2 million. Wine lovers from China to Russia to the U.S. Were coming in to bid on rare treasures. To put things in perspective, the pricey cognac dates back to 1788 when Louis the Roman numeral 16th and Mary Antoinette were still living at the royal palace and would not be guillotined for another 5 years. Wines can't withstand passing years as well as spirits. The wines were younger, I think, much younger than that, going for $8,000 to $10,000 a bottle.
Much more reasonable.
Yes. Yeah. Well, I want a few myself.
Right.
The 427-year-old restaurant. This restaurant, you're talking about,
is 2 times older than our country.
You're talking about perseverance and and obviously a good business model, right? Donated proceeds from the 37,000 bottle to a French charity that grants the wishes of ailing children. Let's see here. 2 additional bottles of the historic cognac sold for $31,000 and $27,300. That's some pretty expensive cognac.
You know what goes good with a 1788 cognac?
I don't know.
A cocaine stuffed baked chicken.
It's funny you mention that. That's what we're having for supper after the show.
In Sterling, Virginia, sometimes people learn the hard way what not to carry on a holiday trip. That was the case for a Guatemalan man caught at Washington, D.C.'s Dulles International Airport with a baked chicken stuffed with something surprising. The bird containing 60 grams of cocaine that has a street value of about $4,300. U.S. Customs agent at the airport arrested 32-year-old Wagner Linares Argon when they discovered the chicken during a random inspection. Steve Sapp of the Department of Homeland Security says the man arrived at Dulles on a flight from El Salvador just after midnight last Saturday. Around the holiday, Sapp says agents check agricultural products very carefully to make sure nothing forbidden is entering this country.
Like maybe a chicken carcass.
Stuffed with cocaine.
What's the new kind of stuffing? You know?
Yeah, that's right. I've never had that stuffing.
I don't know.
Chicken.
So he was from Guatemala? Mm-hmm. I know some people from Guatemala. I do.
Might be a dish they're familiar with then.
I'll have to maybe check with Miguel and Dionisia and see about this cocaine stuffed chicken.
Right.
That was maybe not the wisest choice. Maybe a chicken, but I think would draw attention. If you're like got it in your suitcase or whatever, you're carrying on like, what's that smell? It's rotting chicken.
I don't know what they do to it, but it's delicious.
Well, it's just cornstarch. Well, and with that cognac and the cocaine stuffed chicken, we could have some cheese.
Cheddar cheese.
Yes. This comes to us from Wisconsin.
Of course.
15-year-old cheddar made in Wisconsin, probably the most mature cheese for sale in the country, is selling well despite the $50 per pound price tag. $50 a pound. That's expensive.
That is.
Hook's 15-year-old sharp cheddar, produced in 1994, went up for sale in a handful of outlets on Friday and is proven popular, says cheesemaker Tony Hook. It started moving a lot faster than we expected. Hook, who is 57, along with his wife and brother, runs the Hook Cheese Company in Mineral Point. People seem to be excited about it. I mean, I like cheese.
Right. Cheese is good.
Cheese, as Wendy's commercial used to say, I eat cheddar and cheddar. Sorry about that stuck in the 70s. I don't do a very good British accent, but it's a great commercial. Let's see here. The cheddar began as a part of a gigantic batch that weighed 5,200 pounds. Now let's do the math on that. Could we? 5,200 times 50, and it's about $260,000 worth of cheese. But if you've been, that's 15 years in the making. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
that's, it's a lot of work.
That's right.
It's rare for cheddar to last this long. Perhaps it can hold as long as cheddar can hold for most people's palates. Making a cheddar that ripe without turning bitter or acidic is a rare skill. I'm not going to read this whole article, but it goes on to talk about, how does it taste? That's what people are wanting to know. How does this taste? He said it's smooth. It isn't bitter. It doesn't have an off flavor. It doesn't have an acidic bitter like a 3-year. It's very flavorful. It's got a lot more cheddar flavor. He recommends pairing the cheddar with wine and a good cracker or bread or $37,000 bottle of cognac.
Or a 1788 cognac.
Yes. Because if you're paying $50 a pound for your cheese, you might be able to afford $37,000 bottle of cognac. Cheese making is an art form, says this gentleman who bought a 3/4 pound hunk. I consider my purchase to be a form of cheese philanthropy. For $50, I support the arts and got a great piece of cheese. I'm not sure I am following Brian Morello, but if that's how he wanted to spend his $50, good for him.
Yeah. 740 pounds of that would be $35,000. Well, I don't know why I found that interesting.
700. Where'd you come up with the 700?
I did the math. That $50 a pound, right?
Right. But I mean, where'd you come up with 740? You just picked a random number?
No, I took the 35,000 and that with the bottle of cognac.
Yes, gotcha. I'm with you now. Well, do you have are you going to get to our sheep award?
I have a couple sheep awards. But
you have a couple sheep awards.
Let me warm up to my worst sheep award.
Okay.
I'll do this other one that I thought was definitely sheep-worthy. This happened from Queens, New York.
Well, there you go.
Man mugged 3 women, including a 101-year-old.
Oh, you got one. You got one worse than this?
I think so.
Mugging of a 103-year-old woman.
3 women. One of them was 101 years old. Okay. The other one, the other 2, one was only 87.
Oh,
and the other was 51.
Oh, yeah.
That man was sentenced to 75 years.
Mm-hmm.
I think he got at least what was coming to him. I think he should have gotten more. But in March of 2007, a surveillance camera recorded the attack on her at her apartment building. She was left lying in a pool of blood and suffered a fractured cheek and bruised eye. In this attack, Rhodes fled the scene with just $33 and a portion, which is just a portion of what she had, which she was getting ready to take to the church to donate.
Oh, so there was a 101-year-old lady who was taking her widow's mite to the church to donate for people that were doing less well than her. Mm-hmm. And this jack-in-the-box mugs her and takes it.
And in the same week,
and you have a story that's worse than this.
The same day, he attacked the 87-year-old woman, kicked her, beat her, took $35 from her, and 2 rings.
Well, personally, I think he should be hung in the town square.
And then for the 51-year-old, he got $10.
Oh, yeah. Well, I mean, I guess,
He was a 240-pound male, too. This is what the Queen's Support Court Justice Gregory Lasik said. You're a 240-pound male. I say male because you're not a man. A man doesn't throw a left hook and then a right hook into the face of a 101-year-old woman. That's disgusting.
Amen. And wait, no. Can you read this? Just the first few words of the next sentence.
Defense attorney Paul Montgomery questioned the accounts from the eyewitnesses during the trial and suggested that Rhodes was being framed.
Okay. And there's video. Okay. So this is why, and I get on this soapbox often. This is why I loathe defense attorneys. And this is why I loathe our judicial system, because he doesn't need a defense attorney. He needs to be hung. But anybody that is low enough to defend a scumbag like that should get whatever the same sentence the scumbag gets. That's just my opinion. Because he's punching old women in the face. What defense does he need?
No doubt.
And the judge was right. You know, this guy. I mean, what do you do with people like that?
Hard labor.
Yes, hard 12-hour days of hard labor
for life.
Yes.
Without parole.
And then a concrete bed.
Right.
No torture, but just make it miserable for them day in and day out, right?
Mm-hmm.
That's the only thing really good enough to come up with that would really, I mean, wow. And you have something that's worse?
I personally thought this one was worse. I mean, it's just as bad. They're both terrible.
I'm not saying that there couldn't be something worse than that, yes.
Husband injects sleeping wife with infected blood.
Oh, my God.
An HIV-positive man has infected his wife with the virus, which can cause AIDS, by pricking her with a sewing needle dipped in his own blood.
God, help us.
The man injected his wife while she slept. It is believed he wanted to give her the disease so she would start having sex with him again. Now, the couple had been experiencing relationship problems in part because the woman's refusal to have sex with him, as she feared she would contract the disease.
Mm-hmm.
The woman said she confronted the husband with a diagnosis late last year, and he admitted dipping a sewing needle in his blood and pricking it with it. All he said was he was sorry. He said, "I used the needles on you because I wanted you to be the same as me, so that we can so you can live with me and you won't leave me."
I believe there might be some mental instability here.
I just thought that was, I mean, that's going to cause her, which could cause her death soon.
Right.
So, I mean, they're both terrible sheep awards.
You know, that one is worse because, I mean, well, Irvin Johnson has somehow defied all odds and not only is still living, but looks just as healthy and handsome as he always has. I don't know how that's possible.
Right.
But more often than not, especially if you have any kind of immune deficiency whatsoever, it attacks you and it can be debilitating very quickly.
Right.
But he gave her almost certain death.
Yes.
That's horrible.
Not there's ever a good reason to give somebody almost certain death.
No.
But his reasoning's worse. Especially sorry.
Exactly. I think there would have been ways we won't get into now. They could have worked some things out.
Right.
Well, I have. I don't know why I'm not even going to read them really. There's two stories one from Indonesia and one Malaysia, which are fairly close to each other as compared to as how close they are to here. And both have to do with wild animals that are exotic.
Mm-hmm.
In Jakarta, Indonesia, a man has been arrested because he smuggled in 10 rare kangaroos by boat from the island of New Guinea. He offloaded the exotic marsupials. 5 of them had died. Let's see here. The 5 surviving kangaroos of a small rainforest-dwelling variety were given to an animal sanctuary. Illegal trade in rare and exotic animals is rampant in Indonesia, where law enforcement is generally poor. He faces up to 5 years in jail and $11,000 fine. And then you just go right over, just hop, skip, and a jump to Malaysia, where there is a lady who is keeping, and I'm going to be honest with you, I haven't looked this up. I'm not familiar with what a honey bear is. Apparently it's a species of bear. Mm-hmm. But she had a honey bear, a leopard, and a slow loris primate in her condo, just hanging out with her, wild animals. And but here's the thing: the animals are worth a lot of money, hundreds of dollars on the black market, which is a lot of money, hundreds. But in Malaysia, if you're not doing well, and here's the cool thing: this is the reason why it caught my attention. They were kept as pets because the cage for the slow loris, a lemur-like animal, was equipped with swings. So he had a, they were giving him some
way to
entertainment.
entertain himself.
Yes. Of course, she claims that her cousin had them. Anyhow, the bear could fetch about $1,471 to be precise.
You give or take a few cents.
While the leopard, cat, and the slow loris were worth about $147.33.
About, roughly.
And look at this animal right here. I'm not sure what's going on there. He's grooming himself. We'll just leave it at that. Much like the video we got last week with the monkey peeing into his own mouth.
I didn't bring the story with me, but I saw it on TV. And you being a fisherman, I thought you would be interested in it. Mm-hmm. Apparently there's these, I don't want to say Asian carps in the Mississippi River. Have you heard about this? Mm-hmm. And they're just like growing rampantly, and they're just killing every other species of fish in the lake.
Yeah, they're taking over. Yeah.
And they're headed toward the Great Lakes, and they're afraid that if they get there, it'll kill off every species of fish in the Great Lakes.
They need to have an absolute wide open season, no krill in it, and maybe even like pay $5 a fish or $1 a fish or something.
They're trying to poison them out.
Right.
I mean, kill like a specific poison that kills just them or something.
Right. Well, they should do that, but then they should encourage sportsmen to catch and not release as many as possible.
I don't know if you've seen these things, but they look like piranha. They have actual teeth.
Yeah.
And they take chunks out of whatever they're eating. I mean, it's just
right. Yeah. The ecosystem survives by things being indigenous for a reason.
Right.
And those are indigenous to certain parts of Asia and not here.
There's no natural predators here.
Mm-hmm.
They're not. You're right. They're not indigenous from here, and they're afraid that if it gets to the Great Lakes, it's going to ruin the fishing. I mean, it just.
Yeah. It's much like I don't remember the actual name, but have you ever seen or heard of this fish that's like a snake? They call it the snake fish.
I have seen it. Well, actually, it can breathe air.
It walks
on land.
Yes, it's amphibious, and it walks. And I've actually seen one in person in Maryland. Wow. Saw it with my own two eyes, walking across the yard, and I was afraid of it because it was so hideous looking, and it didn't need water to live, right? And it looked like it wanted to bite me. And it was just really unsettling to see a fish walking across land with these big, nasty teeth. Not indigenous to here. I think from Japan. They have all kinds of freaky stuff. And they were trying to do a mass killing because it could also wipe out, a lot of species and wreak havoc. I saw something on TV about that nasty issue there. They hopefully they'll be able to find, like you said, a poison that addresses just that one fish where it won't affect the ecosystem. Because it's bad enough being in the river, but if it makes it to the lakes, then that's bad news.
Right. And they were talking about how much it would cost, that kind of study. That's something that I could support the government spending billions of dollars on.
Right.
To help maintain a national treasure like the Great Lakes.
Well, but it's also a lot of people's livelihoods up there.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
So, I mean, it's something that needs to be addressed.
Yeah.
It should be. Yeah, absolutely. And then also, I think there should be some pretty stiff fines and penalties for these people that are getting these fish and, have them in their aquarium and then realize, it's going to grow to be 6 foot in length and go dump it in a river somewhere.
Right.
I mean, that just doesn't make sense. If you're not going to keep it anyhow, you might as well just kill it, right? And not introduce it to the wild.
Exactly. I think we're still a little bit early, but I want to make sure we get to your good story.
Yeah, we definitely. I want to actually read this. It's not that long, but I'm actually going to read it. The entire story. It's a pretty awesome story. Do you have anything else?
Nothing that rivals that. I got a story about a girl whose sneezes 12,000 times a day.
Well, would you share that with us? Because I actually saw the link to that, and I never clicked on it, and I was kind of curious about it.
I'd seen it before, and now we actually have a diagnosis for it.
Okay.
Chesapeake, Virginia, 12-year-old Virginia girl who sneezes up to 12,000 times a day has an official diagnosis. Lauren Johnson, who started sneezing constantly through the day after suffering from a bad cold in November, was diagnosed with pediatric autoimmune neuropsychotic disorder associated with streptococcus, which is also known as PANDAS, P-A-N-D-A-S. Until now, doctors referred to Lauren's condition as a machine gun sneezing, as the girl couldn't go more than a few seconds without sneezing. Her only relief comes when she sleeps. Wow. Docs, baffled by the girl's sneezing, now we can actually treat it as something, said Lauren, who has been unable to attend school because of her sneezing fits, but is now starting to feel better after doctors started her on a course of antibiotics. Surely they haven't waited until now to put her on antibiotics. I mean, I would be, what's the harm in giving her some of that? Dr. Rosario Trifoletti, a child neurologist who is treating Lauren, said PANDAS occurs following a streptococcal infection, most common known as strep.
Right. They call it strep for a reason, because that other word.
Right. Symptoms of PANDAS include, but are not limited to, cognitive inflexibility, obsessive or compulsive argumentative behaviors. You might have a Tourette's syndrome. Attention deficit disorder. Lauren is at risk of getting this again, and we're probably going to place her on some sort of low-dose antibiotics for a long period of time.
That does sound like something I may have. I love to argue. Arguing is probably one of my favorite things. Well, wait a second.
PANDAS.
I need to increase my life.
Oh, I did have another story.
Well, please do.
We have 7 minutes. We can do this and that one.
Yep.
Exploding chewing gum blows off college student's jaw. It's not really funny. The kid dies.
Oh, wait. You're supposed to preface morbid stories.
Please refrain from laughing. This is not a very dignified way of going. A chemistry student in the Ukraine was found dead with his jaw blown off by what is believed to be exploding chewing gum, according to reports. The 25-year-old disfigured remains were discovered at his parents' home in northern Ukraine. The young man, who studied at the Kiev Polytechnic Institute, was working at a computer late on Saturday when the alleged explosion happened. A loud pop was heard from the student's room. When his relatives entered the room, they saw the lower part of the young man's face had been blown off. A forensic examination established that the chewing gum was covered with an unidentified chemical substance thought to be some type of explosive material. The student apparently had a bizarre habit of chewing gum after dipping it into citric acid. Officials found both citric acid packets and a similar-looking unidentified substance believed to be some sort of explosive material on a table nearby the body. Investigators suspected the student simply confused the packets of gum covered with explosive material into his and put the gum covered with explosive material into his mouth.
Mm. Have you tried this new gum? It'll blow you away. Oh. Well, let's get off that real quick, because the Ukraine is, I'm pretty sure, close to Hungary, right?
Doesn't blow bubbles, it blows jaws.
It'll blow you away. That's just bad. We're sorry. Hungary.
Yes.
This comes from Budapest. Talk about a reversal of fortunes. 2 brothers who are so poor they live in a cave.
That's poor.
They live.
How poor are they?
They live in a cave on the outskirts of Budapest and get by selling scavenged junk. They make their living selling junk
And living in a cave.
Are in line to receive a $6.6 billion inheritance from a long-lost grandmother. I can't even wrap my mind around this.
The Budapest Hillbillies. That's a new TV show.
Zolt and Geza Pilate have been informed that they are entitled to half the fortune, along with a sister who lives in the United States. Charity workers in Hungary passed on the good news to the brothers after being contacted by lawyers handling the state of their maternal grandmother, who died recently in Baden-Württemberg, Germany. We know our mother came from a wealthy family, but she was a difficult person and severed ties with them, and then later abandoned us, and we lost touch with her and our father until she eventually died. If this all works out, it will certainly make up for the life we have had until now. All we really had was each other. No women would look at us living in a cave. But with money, and it's not just money, it's a lot of it, right? Maybe we can find a partner.
Truly a fortune.
Yes. Maybe we can find a partner and finally have a normal life. It's not going to be normal.
Yeah.
We don't know yet if she even told our grandmother about us. I understand it was only while they were carrying out genealogical research that lawyers found we existed. Under German law, direct descendants are automatically entitled to the share of any estate. As the grandmother's daughter is dead, the money goes to her grandchildren. The brothers said they are trying to track down their mother's death certificate to prove relation to their grandmother before traveling to Germany to claim the fortune. They didn't say how the grandmother had amassed her fortune.
That'd be interesting, yeah.
But 6.6,
perhaps chunk trading.
Chunk trading.
Family business.
Yeah. Or maybe chickens from Guatemala. I don't know, but the thing is, 6.6 million would be life-changing.
Cheddar cheese.
Yeah. The three of them could have 2.2 million each.
Right.
But $2.2 billion each. I mean, go from living in a cave. They live in a cave. Billion. Down by the river. They live in a cave.
That has got to be the best story.
I mean,
that's a good news story ever.
I mean,
I hate they lost their grandmother. I'm sure they're sick over it. I'm sure they'd rather have her back than the $6.6 billion. They could only have one way. Probably trade the $6.6 billion for one more day.
I think. Here's some breaking news. It has been brought to my attention that the grandmother owned a chewing gum company. and maybe that's what caused her death. I don't know. But there you go. That is truly an awesome story.
A bubble gum called Nitro. Nitro flavored. Citric flavored.
Jaw dropping good.
They want a $6.6 billion lawsuit against the bubble gum company.
And now they're going to be living in a cave. Oh, I don't know if it could go downhill anymore from here. So we are out of time and out of cognac, Cavassier. So we bid you adieu.
See you next week.
See you next week.
Different bat time.
Yeah, different bat time, different bat day.
Same bat channel.
Same bat channel.
This has been Blog Talk Radio's The Incoherent Ramblings of C&E. Christopher and Eric are your hosts, and we would like to thank you for listening to our show today. Don't forget to tune in for next week's show live from Greensboro, North Carolina, as we are every Thursday from 6 to 7 p.m. Eastern Time.